Brenda Natala is with us. She is the principal at the Laura Jeffrey Academy in St. Paul. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. So tell us about the school. Tell us about the Laura Jeffrey Academy.
Well, Laura Jeffrey Academy is located in St. Paul. It's a tuition-free charter school, so it's a public school.
Oh, really?
We are our own district. If you know anything about charters, are their own district. We have a sponsor, Audubon Center of the North Woods.
Okay.
This is our third year of existence. We have we're girl-focused, which means that our framework and our curriculum and our teaching is girl-focused.
That's good to know.
And we are a year-round program.
So girls go to school all year?
Oh, really?
Is there a break, like a traditional summer vacation? Or?
Well, we're kind of a semi-year-round. We have our school year ends at the end of June, and then we have July programming that's optional but highly encouraged and very engaging and fun. And then we're off in August.
Okay.
So we have almost all year round.
Okay. That's interesting. Is there a reason, though, why you're more year-round?
Yeah, why is that?
Well, I think what we're learning over the years with students is that there's so much learning lost in the summer.
That is so true.
That we just don't want
yes.
to give students the chance to lose their learning. We want to keep
strong
true. All year long. And also, students, some families have, there are great inequities in out-of-school time, depending on family situations. Some children have opportunities all summer long to do enrichment and actually learn more in the summer. Other students have no opportunities for enriching activities in the summer. So we're trying to provide a more equitable, high-quality experience all year for our students.
Have you always been a principal of girls?
No.
No. Okay, so
this is my first principal experience and my first experience in a girl-focused school.
What's kind of the difference to you? What I know the gender, but what's different, otherwise than that, would you say?
To be in a girl-focused school?
Yes.
The thing that I think is really empowering, we're about empowering young women. The mission of our school started based on the research that girls at the middle school age, and we're grades 5 through 8, we're just middle school, very intentionally, is that girls start to decrease in their math and science and physical fitness, motivation. At that age, they start to lose confidence and motivation in those areas. And so our school is founded on that mission of reversing that decline that we've been seeing. And so because it's all girls, we're able to really build confidence and competence. Competence comes before competence. So once you can feel that you're successful in math, that you're successful in science, that you can be physically fit, you can be comfortable with your body, then you can become a confident young woman. And parents tell me all the time that after their daughter started with us, she develops her voice.
Wow.
She's able to really speak up and be strong and not be shy about learning, not be shy about being a math geek or a science geek, or loving engineering and loving numbers and loving reading. Even some of our girls previously have been teased for being academic and being scholarly, and we really try to reverse that. One thing that's wonderful, too, about having an all-girl environment, and we are girl-focused, so if a boy wanted to come to our school, he could, if he felt that he...
Really? So you would accept boys?
Right.
Really? Oh.
Right.
Do you have any boys currently
We don't
enrolled?
have any boys currently enrolled. But one thing that's really wonderful is, in a girl-focused, all-girl environment, is that we're very open about all kinds of issues. We're very committed to talking about race and class and gender.
Good.
We have a comprehensive sexuality education. We partner with the Birds and the Bees and other. We have many wonderful partnerships with women's organizations, but we're able to be really open. And girls they're on the cusp of dating. They're thinking about relationships. Some of them are starting to, and it's just really the key time for girls to talk about issues and be very open and talk with trusting adults. And that's just I think a wonderful thing for girls to have at this age.
This is good.
Well, on your website, it says the school's motto is asking questions and making choices. So does that speak to the empowerment? And because when you were saying that, a lot of young girls, are afraid to even raise their hand in class.
Yes.
Right.
And when I heard you say some of those things, I keep thinking it's 2010 or 2011 now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Shouldn't we be, we still have to work on that, though,
Yes, we do.
with our girls, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
Yes, I just heard a lecture. In fact, I can't remember the woman's name, one of those TED lectures, a woman talking about CEOs and women not making it to the top in
Wow.
organizations. And part of that reason is that they're afraid to raise their hand.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Is
afraid to
that
ask
right?
the questions. It's a self-limiting belief that I'm not quite as good as the men. And men will tend to, the research shows both in science and engineering careers, but also just in leadership, that men trust their own ability more than women trust their own ability.
Okay.
Women see their limitations.
Sure.
Women think, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And men don't. They just go for it.
And they take a risk.
And they
more
take
so
the
that, yeah,
risk.
the risk, that's it.
And so
yeah.
for us, it's teaching girls to take the risk.
Sure.
To be comfortable taking the risk.
Yeah.
Learning how to ask questions. Our teachers don't just lecture. They present real, authentic problems, and the students learn to ask questions about those problems and engage in that dialogue.
Now, is there only females teaching in the school, or is there males too?
Nope,
or-
we have one male teacher right now.
Okay.
But we try to hire the best candidate for the position.
Exactly.
So you prepare a young girl in the school, in the Laura Jeffrey Academy, to go face the world and to be strong. But when she faces that world, and this is her foundation of what she's learned at the school, I think in a world today that when we look at women and strong women, sometimes as women we get called, well, she's this way or she's that way.
Yeah.
We're not as held as to that high esteem that men are for being
right.
aggressive,
Exactly.
for being go-getters, for
Right,
going
go
out
get
there.
it right, yeah.
So when you prepare a young girl like this at the academy and she goes out into the world, what do you say to her then? Do you say, stay strong, remember your foundation? Tell us about that.
That's a great question.
It is.
It's a really great question. I think we're in our third year, and we have our first graduating class of 8th graders this year.
Oh, wow.
And so we're planning to really track where those girls end up.
Good.
And part of our mission is also having access to girl-focused education for all girls. That's why we're free public school, because historically, only the privileged have had access to girl-focused education. Many of our new Supreme Court justices, Hillary Clinton,
Sure.
many of the very top women in politics went to girl schools.
All girls school, really?
And they do get criticized, as we've seen in the
Or
recent
as we
Supreme
say,
Court
labeled.
hearings. I mean,
They're labeled.
right?
Yeah.
And that's a real issue. And
Wow.
I have to take that back to the teachers, and we have to talk about that more, about how we want to directly address that. But what we do consistently address is deconstructing gender as we see it in the media, and as we
Yes.
see it in literature, and really being explicit about this is biased. This is when you see today in a 5th and 6th grade classroom, they were looking at Native American stereotypes. So the students
sure.
were getting to look at images, and we're learning to pick it apart and say, well, why does this show a stereotype? What does this perpetuate? Who benefits from that stereotype? And so I'm hopeful that once you learn that way of thinking, you don't go back. You keep that with you, and you keep that critical analysis of society. You keep that critical analysis of media words.
Right.
You're not just a consumer. You're a critique, a critic of whatever is coming at you, and that makes you stronger.
Well, how do you deal with now bullying? Because they've been saying that girls are getting a little bit more off the chain with bullying than boys. So what are you seeing? What are you seeing with bullying? How do you handle that?
Well, middle school girls are going through enormous changes.
Oh yeah.
Physically, emotionally, cognitively, and socially. And so they are really trying to figure out who they are socially, getting separated a little bit more from parents, starting to look more at friends as their basis of community support. And they're emotional because of their developmental stage.
Absolutely. They
Boys
are emotional.
too. Boys are too in middle school. And so part of our job is to guide them through that emotional process, to be very positive and growth-minded about teaching them those social skills they need.
That's right.
And we're a small school. Our maximum capacity is 220 students.
Oh, okay.
So we know all the students.
Sure you do.
I know them all. I can look at their faces and say, you're having a bad day. Come and talk to me. And, bullying happens.
Sure does.
From time to time. But we really try to teach in our health classes, in all of our classes, ways of being kind, ways of communicating.
And you try to nip it in the bud right away, don't you?
Nip it in the bud right away.
Yeah.
We have, people talk about girl fights. That doesn't happen. The physical knockdown, drag-out fights. We haven't had that at our school.
Not a lot of drama, as they say. A lot of drama. You don't have a lot of drama.
Any middle school has drama.
But not the knockdown, drag-out. Kind of drama.
I mean, we that's part of learning when you're that age.
Yeah, it is.
How to handle drama, how to manage your emotions in ways that don't get you into trouble, which is probably what leads most people that are in the juvenile justice system. It's because they haven't managed their emotions and their anger.
No, that's right.
So we try to work on that resiliency, managing yourself, and learning those skills. Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Right.
Who are you going to be as a young woman?
As I was kind of reading about the school, it also talked about the school's framework, and one of the things that they say, it's a holistic approach to education and addressing teaching and learning, and resiliency, school climate, and organizational effectiveness.
Ooh.
Tell me about that. That caught me.
Organizational effectiveness?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Great question. We have an interdisciplinary model because for middle school students in particular, they love hands-on learning, experiential learning.
Sure.
So that's where the holistic view of teaching and learning comes in. I'll just tell you one lesson that I think beautifully blended science, math, a girl focus all together. They were studying proportions in math. And so they measured Barbie's proportions, they measured their own proportions, and then they measured their teacher's proportions, and she was 8 months pregnant.
Oh.
So then they were able to discuss socially what that meant, mathematically what that meant, and scientifically what that meant. So it's one way of looking at the disciplines interdisciplinarily.
Sure.
In terms of organizational effectiveness, we're a fractal organization, which means that we all have power within the organization and that our teachers are leaders.
Good.
We give our students opportunities to be leaders.
Good.
Last night we had a fabulous slam poetry night that was
the
brainchild of an 8th grader.
I love that.
Students put it together. Students led it. We invited a few community poets in.
Parents
came.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful event that was initiated by our girls, so we try to support their leadership.
Oh, I'd love to be there for that.
I
like
should have
that.
invited you.
Yes, you should have. You should have.
I will next time.
Oh, yes.
So, and our girls were at the state capitol on the 10-10-10 march that day. That was last October, and they became very annoyed because this was a march about children and children's issues, and no children were speaking.
Go figure, huh?
Go figure. Yeah, children's issue, no kids speaking.
No children were invited to speak.
Ooh.
They came with a prepared speech with one of our staff people who does a service learning class with them. And they somehow talked their way in. They said, we just really want to speak.
Yes.
And so Senator Klobuchar was speaking, and Senator Franken was speaking, and, Mayor Coleman, and blah, 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 blah. So finally, at the end, they got to get in front of the microphone, and they talked about their passion for education and the issues they've been studying and the problems in society and education. And so
did they feel heard? Did they feel heard?
They did. And
what a moment of resiliency right there.
Oh, yeah.
We're at this and we want to make change. And
exactly, right now.
Good. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And we have to quickly point out, you made the cover of that's Minnesota Parent Magazine. Just quickly hold that up. Isn't that great? That's one of the students.
One of the students. Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for being here. This was great discussion. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And continue with the school.
We are always looking for new partners.
Okay.
Well, invite us next time to the Poetry Slam.
You can come any Tuesday or Thursday. We have tours.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Community members in anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun.
And we thank you for joining us today on It's a Woman's World. We hope to see you next time.